What's up, guys? It's Monty today. I'm back again to talk about Maggie Stiefvater's The Dream Thieves, book number 2 in the Raven cycle. If you haven't read The Raven Boys, I would say, why are you here? I guess I need to take this bookmark out now, because I finished it. If you haven't read this book, if you haven't read The Raven Boys, you should probably leave. I don't plan on getting too into depth with this book review. I don't plan on getting into too many spoilers, but because this is a sequel, by very definition, there could be things I mention here that could spoil or ruin the first book. And so if that's not something you're interested in, go away. Now, to describe this book, I think is weird. It mainly is dealing with the cliffhanger that was in The Raven Boys. So the most of this book is really focused around Ronan and him discovering his not discovering his abilities, but exploring what his ability to bring things out of dreams means, how that affects everything else that's going on in Henrietta, I think that's the name. Probably wrong. But it's going on in the town, and his history with his father and how that plays into everything. We do delve back to Cabe's Water. I forget. Other characters are obviously a thing, but my main problem with this book, and I think I didn't really get the problem here until I picked up Carry On by Rainbow Rowell, and I think that both of these books are fantasy-esque, but they're not really committed to being fantasy. Dream Thieves is definitely more committed to being fantasy. I think that there's definitely more world building that goes on here. There's more explanations of things that are going on here. It's definitely grounded. It's definitely explained in ways that I'm appreciating more than I am over here. But they're fantasy books that aren't really that invested in being a fantasy and doing these things, but they want the elements. It's weird. I don't really get it, because this book definitely feels like it's a contemporary novel, but there's like supernatural-esque things that are happening that we're dealing with, that we're doing, and sometimes I'm okay with it, and sometimes I don't care. Like in The Dream Thieves, the whole situation with whatever his name was, Kowalski, that's not his name. I'm not gonna find his name either. Kavinsky. I found it. The whole situation with Kavinsky, I was like, okay, I'm happy Ronan's not the only one, but also like, I don't get it. I don't care. I'm not seeing the appeal. Again, Blue was one of my favorite characters in the series. She continued to be my favorite character here. Her mother Moira was great. Everyone that lives at 300 Fox Way is a vastly more interesting character. I'm not really all that interested in Gansey. I'm not interested in Gansey and Blue's relationship. Wasn't interested in Blue and Adam's relationship. I don't think that any of the relationships so far that we've read about in this book series is all that memorable, is all that well developed, is that like interesting. It's not something I'm pushing for, but it's something that Maggie pushes in the writing. Like, it's very much this. And I think that another thing I'm not all that big a fan of is this whole situation where it's like, oh, I can't kiss my true love because I'll kill them situation. And I understand that's an integral part of Blue's character, and it has like shaped who she is as a person in a lot of ways. But at the end of the day, I still read those sequences, and I'm just kind of like, I'm sorry for you, but I also don't really care. And I don't think that... And again, this book was structured very similarly to the last book, where it was a bunch of, mundanity, we're exploring things, and then we get to like... I'd say like about here in the book, and then suddenly it's like action-packed thriller, and we're just going like stuff is happening, and then the book is over, and you're like, well, I guess I gotta pick up the next one. And I don't like that. I don't think that most of your books should be boring mundanity, contemporary nonsense, and then you get to the last 100 or so pages, and it's like, no. I didn't even care that there were building blocks to get to that. Didn't care, because at the end of the day, there was a whole bunch of stuff that wasn't going on that I didn't care about that I had to read through just to get to the point in the novel where Maggie Stiefvater thought that it would be fun and interesting to go like non-stop action-packed drama and cliffhanger at the end. I think that it just felt very formulaic to me, because it was exactly what she did in the first book. There was a lot of like, okay, we're exploring all of this, and then what's her name showed up at the end, and Adam had to make a sacrifice, and then, oh, I got Chainsaw from a dream. And this one was the same way. We're doing a bunch of nothing. We're exploring the ley lines. At the end, Adam starts to wake up the ley line in full, and like, you know, actually taking care of it and doing something with these stones. And then there's like a showdown with Kavinsky, and there was this gray man assassin character that I didn't care about at all, and I didn't really see how he played into the overall plot. I thought for a minute there he was going to kill Kavinsky, and that would be his solution, but that didn't happen. Kavinsky, like low-key, committed suicide instead, which again I was confused by. And so and then at the end it was like, oh, this is the cliffhanger, so you pick up the next book because you want to know what happened. How do we explain this? And it felt cheap. It felt cheap, and I don't know, it didn't really motivate me to pick up the next one. The first one did. The first one was like, you know what, I do want to know. I do want to know that. But now that I've seen it again, I was just kind of like, so is that going to happen every time? Like, is there going to be a cliffhanger in Blue Lily, Lily Blue? Like, I don't want to read another cliffhanger. And maybe that's just my evolving tastes, because I normally don't care about that kind of thing. I normally just kind of go with it. I'm just like, whatever. But here, because I guess I just wasn't so invested, and I don't really think that a lot of the fantasy elements of the story were like given as much time and care and attention as the contemporary elements, and it just felt like a contemporary novel. I just wasn't there. I didn't care as much. So those are my thoughts on The Dream Thieves. If you've read The Dream Thieves, make sure you leave your thoughts down in the comment section below. We can get into a nice discussion. But until then, I'll see you when I see you. Bye.